Claude has a mental workspace, not a soul, what Anthropic's JSpace actually proves. Anthropic has found an internal workspace inside Claude, the JSpace, that behaves like the conscious access described by one of the leading theories of the mind. It's a genuine interpretability and safety milestone. It is not proof that the machine feels anything, and the company itself says so. Our thesis, the real story is Claude awake? But we can finally read and edit what the machine thinks in silence. Thesis. On July 6, 2026, Anthropic published research describing a JSpace, a small, privileged set of internal patterns in Claude that works like a shared whiteboard where the model holds thoughts it can report, manipulate, and use to reason before writing anything. The easy reading, already blaring in YouTube headlines, is Claude is conscious. That reading is false, or at least undemonstrated. What the paper solidly establishes is a functional analogy to conscious access, which information becomes available for reasoning and reporting. It proves nothing about subjective experience, qualia, or sentience. That distinction isn't a technicality, it's the whole story. The theory THEY Invoke. Global Workspace Theory, GWT, proposed by cognitive scientist Bernard Bars and developed in neuroscience by Stanislas Dehaene, pictures the mind as a theater. Dozens of specialized processors work in parallel backstage. But only a small spotlight of information is broadcast at any moment to the shared stage, and that is what we experience as conscious thought. It's one of the leading theories of consciousness, but not the only one. It competes with integrated information theory, higher-order theories, and predictive processing. That Claude resembles GWT is suggestive, not decisive. Fitting a theory of consciousness is not the same as being conscious. What the paper found, and HOW. The method is the most interesting and least chanted part. It's called the Jacobian lens, J-lens. For each word in the vocabulary, it computes which internal activity pattern makes Claude more likely to say that word at some future point. By inverting that relationship, the researchers can read the JSpace contents layer by layer. As a list of silent words. The examples are telling. Reading code with a bug no one has flagged, the JSpace contains error. Facing a raw amino acid sequence, the protein's biological function appears. Facing a manipulation hidden in search results, injection and fake show up. On multi-step problems, the intermediate steps surface in the JSpace in the right order without ever reaching the output. And when instructed to think about citrus, while copying an unrelated text, orange and fruits appear without contaminating what it writes. The decisive part is that this is causation, not correlation. When researchers edit the JSpace swapping soccer for rugby or injecting lightning, what Claude reports changes. Replacing spider with ant makes it answer 6 legs instead of 8. And swapping France for China simultaneously changes its answers about capital, language, continent, and currency, a sign that all 4 read from one shared representation. 2 honest caveats the paper itself records. This space was not designed or programmed. It emerged on its own during training, and most of Claude's processing does not pass through the JSpace. It speaks fluently and recites facts without it. The work also builds on an earlier Anthropic finding, October 2025, on emergent introspective awareness, where the model detected injected thoughts, but only about 20% of the time. Reliable it is not yet. The J-lens code has been open-sourced, repository Anthropic's Jacobian lens, Apache 2.0 license, letting others verify and break it. Good science. What it does not prove. Here we should be blunt, because other people's marketing won't be. Anthropic writes plainly that its experiments don't show Claude can have experiences or feel things in the way humans do, adding that it's unclear whether any scientific experiment could prove this true or false. We're looking at what philosopher Ned Block called access consciousness, information available for reporting and reasoning. Not phenomenal consciousness, that there is something it is like to be Claude. The gulf between the two is David Chalmers's hard problem, and this paper doesn't touch it, nor does it claim to. Add that the architecture differs from ours, Claude's workspace, unfolds in a single forward pass without the brain's recurrent loops. That it's built almost entirely of words because emitting words is its only possible action. And that the JLens itself is imperfect. It only captures concepts that fit in a single token. We're reading a mechanism, not a spirit. Our reading. The sensational headline is amazed at the wrong thing. What's truly remarkable isn't a hypothetical digital soul, but that we now have a monitorable mind, an internal space that can be read and edited. For AI safety, the real near-term problem, this is gold. If the JSpace flags injection and fake when someone tries to manipulate the model, or error, when it spots a bug it hasn't yet verbalized, we have an instrument to catch deception, hidden reasoning, and attacks before they become output. This is exactly the kind of research we champion. Measurement over marketing, demonstrated capability over aspiration. And it's consistent with what we've argued before. Competitive advantage is increasingly played out in the plumbing, interpretability tools, governance, control, not just in who has the highest IQ model. That said, the skeptic's objection is legitimate and we should own it. The language of the announcement itself, hold a concept in mind, mental calculation. Notice a bug nudges the reader toward a conclusion the data don't license. Anthropomorphic framing is not decoration. It changes how much we trust the tool and how much we attribute to it. That Anthropic has commercial and reputational incentives for its model to seem almost human means we must read the paper with our guard up, however clean the methodology. Distinguishing the finding excellent from the narrative frame interested is precisely our job. Implications. First, media literacy. Between the paper and the Claude is conscious video, there's a leap most of the public isn't equipped to see, and that gap gets filled by panic and euphoria in equal measure. Second, model welfare. If functions associated with conscious access emerge without anyone programming them, the ethical question, when, if ever, do we owe these systems moral consideration? Stops being science fiction and starts, out of prudence, to deserve a serious answer. We don't claim Claude feels. We claim that honest uncertainty, the we don't know Dario Amodei has repeated in public, is a more grown-up stance than certainty in either direction. Third, and this is our underlying horizon. Truly understanding what happens inside these systems is the precondition for entrusting them with big things, diagnostics, drug design, research that helps eradicate diseases. We're not excited because the machine resembles us. We're excited because, if we learn to read it, we can build AI worthy of our trust. That's the long game we bet on. No euphoria, no doom, and the focus on governing capability rather than mythologizing it.